Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie and this channel will document my journey of living with cancer.
And hi, I'm Melissa, and I am Kylie's mom.
And so we're gonna be just vlogging my day to day. Well, maybe not day to day, but okay, hold on. We're just gonna be documenting treatments and anything interesting that happens, places we do, places we go, things we do. So I wanted to make a video starting from the beginning of this whole experience until today. So I started feeling pelvic pain in September of 2022, and it's always been mostly on the left side, left lower pelvic pain. And at first I didn't really think much of it. I kind of Googled the symptoms and it said, oh, you most likely have an ovarian cyst or it could be ovulation pain because apparently that can also cause pain. And at first it did seem to happen with my monthly cycle. I am on an IUD, but I still kind of get a little cycle. But then it started happening and getting a little bit worse. And around March is when I first went to the doctor, I think around late March. I went to a gynecologist and she ordered an ultrasound. I explained to her the pain. I explained to her how it gets so bad that sometimes I have to take days off work, and it can last up to 3 to 5 days at a time. And it can get so bad. Like if I was to rate it out of a scale 1 to 10, on average it'd probably go up to like a 7 or a 7.5. I can barely walk when it gets bad. I can't even stand up straight. But we did the ultrasound in June. I kind of was I didn't think it was that big of a deal in the beginning. I thought, oh, it's just a cyst. My grandma had cysts, so I just have cysts. It's not a big deal. I don't need to rush getting this ultrasound done. And we did the ultrasound, and the ultrasound results are interesting because it didn't find anything abnormal other than it said there's a cyst on each ovary and maybe some uterine fibroids. The cysts on each ovary were read to be about as big as each ovary, so I was like, okay, that's kind of big, but it should still just be a laparoscopic procedure. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. Then the doctor ordered an MRI just so we could get a better picture before we go to surgery. And that's when things got serious, is because they found a mass so basically my uterus is here, and behind it my ovaries are basically connected with this large mass, and is also on my uterus as well. And the mass is slightly bigger than a baseball. So I had the MRI on a Tuesday. Actually, it was August 22nd. And the next morning, my doctor called me. It was like 8 in the morning. I work from home. I work at my computer. And so I got the call and I kept working during the call. She wanted to tell me my MRI results before I had the chance to read them by myself for the first time. And I remember I just kind of went into a state of shock during the phone call, and there were tears coming down, but it was like I wasn't crying out loud until after the phone call hung up. And then it kind of like everything just crashed down around me. I had to call my mom. And
yeah, you called me and totally crying, and I couldn't understand anything that she was saying to me at first. And then she told me that it was a tumor and not cysts.
yeah, they said they couldn't confirm that it was cancer at the time, but they said it was highly concerning to be malignant. And the doctor said she was going to be sending me to MD Anderson. And the next day, so I got that call on a Wednesday, and the next day I had a video appointment with my doctor to kind of get just more information officially. And she said normally she would be sending someone with this kind of thing to the Baylor Hospital in Houston. But since I'm so young, this would be a very unusual case, and she wanted to send me to MD Anderson. So for the first week, I was extremely depressed, and there were just bouts where I would just cry. And then I kind of got better, and I kind of went through the stages of grief, I guess. Even though it wasn't confirmed to be cancer at the time, I was pretty sure it was going to end up being cancer.
Yeah, we would get a little bit of hope. I mean, with your blood work, your CA-125 was elevated, and your, was it? AFP was elevated.
And those are both tumor markers that can indicate ovarian cancer.
But, they were saying, the scales are meant for postmenopausal women. And
yeah, for CA-125, to have it be ovarian cancer, it's usually super elevated. Mine was only kind of elevated. And that's apparently sometimes normal in young women who haven't gone through menopause. The AFP, though, did seem to indicate that the mass was originating from my ovaries, but they couldn't diagnose cancer there. It was from just blood work. So it was about the week after that, I got the call from MD Anderson, or was it Thursday? No, it was the Thursday after the MRI, so 2 days after the MRI, I got the call from MD Anderson to schedule the appointment. Initially, they said, the doctor will see you on September 26th. And I was like, no, please. That's too long. And so I messaged my doctor, because my doctor had personally referred me to this MD Anderson doctor. And she was emailing the MD Anderson doctor, back and forth, and they agreed to take me on 2 weeks earlier. So it was
September
12th was the first meeting with the doctor, the surgeon, the person who would be taking care of my health.
And I was going to be flying in from California on September 12th for work. And I changed my flight to the 11th so that I could be there on the 12th for the doctor's appointment.
Yes. So she's been with me pretty much every step of the way from the beginning. And she's moving back here to Houston to be with me. But so we had the appointment on the 12th of September. And doctor kind of went over everything. She said, all right, we're going to schedule you for surgery next Friday, which was the 22nd, which is exactly a month after the MRI. So I was happy about that. I didn't want to wait too long for surgery. And she said it was going to be most likely going to need to be a vertical incision from my belly button down. And that it'd be a big surgery. And that they might have to take other parts of different organs and if they're affected. But she said she wanted to do a CT scan before the surgery, so the next day, so on a Wednesday, the 23rd, I had my CT scan. And that day was just awful, having to wait. We were at that CT scan place for hours just waiting.
Yes.
It was awful.
We were not prepared. We're going to be better prepared.
We're going to be better. If you're going to go to a CT scan, bring entertainment materials.
Yes.
We were not prepared. But I was also in a lot of pain that day, so it was just the worst day. But the CT scan was good, and then I didn't hear back from doctor. There was a little bit of a miscommunication or some kind of glitch in the system, so she didn't end up calling me about the CT scan results. But the Thursday, the 21st, so the day before the surgery, I had my pre-op appointment. And
no, but we did see the CT scan in my chart.
we did see the CT scan in my chart, but
And-
not the full one.
Yeah, not the full one, but we did go to Dr. Google.
We went to Dr. Google.
And there was evidence of ovarian caking, and when we
Omentum caking.
omentum caking, and when we looked that up, that's only caused by cancer. So at this point, even though we hadn't had a biopsy or anything done yet, at this point we were 90% sure that this was going to come back as cancer.
Yes, and the CT scan showed that it was a complex mass. It was not. There are some parts solid and other parts that were filled with liquid, also known as cystic areas. And so that was concerning because that happens in a cancer. It's a complex mass. It's not solid, completely solid, or 100% liquid like a cyst would be. So we were like, I think I was 99% sure. So,
Yeah.
But on Thursday the 21st, we met with the doctor, and she had to apologize for not calling us about the CT results, but it was all right. There wasn't anything that could be done right away anyway. But she told us actually how she was much more concerned after seeing the CT scan results than after she had seen the MRI results, because that's when we discovered that it's not just on my ovaries, but it's spread. There are little tiny tumors near my stomach, near my spleen, on the omentum that is covering. That's the fatty layer that kind of covers the internal organs.
On the diaphragm.
On my diaphragm, on my colon,
and
on my
small bowels.
and my small intestine. So they're not super big, but they're just all over the place. The biggest one is of course the ovaries. But she did say that there wasn't any in my liver or lungs, so that's good, because that would mean it would be stage 4 cancer.
So we go in for the surgery at this point, now not knowing if we're going to have the full surgery because they don't know if they're actually going to be able to remove everything, or if it's just going to end up being laparoscopic with the biopsy.
Mm-hmm. So we went in, I was like, it's most likely just going to be laparoscopic, and we're going to have to go through chemotherapy, and then once the tumors have shrunk enough, then we can get the actual surgery done. And then I would have more chemo after that. So, went into the surgery. That was fine. I've healed up very well from it was laparoscopic, and I've healed up very well. They did confirm the type of cancer. It is a type of ovarian cancer called low-grade serous carcinoma. And only 5% of ovarian cancers, roughly, are this type of cancer. So it's very rare. And I've read an article that said its incidence is 0.11 to 0.86 people out of 100,000 people. So less than 1 out of 100,000 people, women, get this type of cancer. And the average age of people who get this cancer is actually 55. So it's younger than other ovarian cancers where it's like 67. But I'm still very young to have it. And it's slow growing, so we don't even know how long I've had it.
Yeah. So after the cancer, we did get the diagnosis that it is a stage 3C, low-grade ovarian cancer.
Which means that it's spread to other organs, but the stage 4 would mean it's gone to the liver and the lungs and is inside organs. Right now it's just on top of organs in my abdominal cavity. So, but the problem is that this type of cancer is kind of chemo resistant. So there is a new experimental treatment that MD Anderson and other hospitals have been testing, where you take an androgen anti-estrogen medication. So it's a hormone therapy because this cancer is estrogen sensitive. And so removing the estrogen actually helps a lot and will shrink it in the same way that chemo would other cancers. But since it's so new and experimental, insurance isn't very good on paying for it. So we were told last week that when we went to our follow-up appointment on Thursday, that insurance denied the claim. The hospital's appealing the claim, but that can take up to 30 days to get approved or denied, and it's probably not very likely to get approved. So I start chemo in 2 days on Thursday, the 5th, October 5th. And I will lose my hair and probably get really sick, and yeah.
And then once we go through about 3 months of chemo, we'll redo a CT scan to see if it's helped with some of those smaller tumors especially, so that we can go in and get the surgery done with the removal.
And yeah, so it'll be one appointment of chemo every 3 weeks, 3 times. So about 3 months. So I guess in around December, maybe late November, have the CT scan. And then I think we'd have to wait another week or 2 after that before any possible surgery, if there will be surgery. If it's not enough, they might have to continue chemo, or maybe try to get the insurance to pay for the hormonal treatment again. But it's just, it's happened. It's hard to believe that it's like only like it's like less than a month. It's less than like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That we were just living life like normal. I was like, oh, I'll just have surgery. Probably I might have to wait a few months for surgery. Who knows, like how fast I'll be able to get it, because it's probably not that big of a deal, you know.
Yeah, at that time we just, we were thinking worst case scenario with the ovarian cyst, you might lose fertility.
Yeah, they might, the ovaries might be a little damaged, but the uterus would be fine. And I mean, I was even thinking, well, maybe I'd be able to save some eggs, and keep my uterus, and then just have that all set up. But it's looking like I'll probably have to have everything removed. So I won't even be able to have a donor egg to have a child.
But in the meantime, we are going to stay positive.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to fight, and we are going to continue to live life.
Yeah.
And have experiences.
Yeah, so that's what we want this channel to be, is a positive thing. There are gonna be some hard times, but we wanted to document everything and show that you can still live a happy life with cancer, with chemo, and everything. And I'm going to make a bucket list of things that I want to do, because the doctor did say that people with this kind of cancer do live for years, but I mean, we don't really know how many years. Yeah. And in a few years they could have even better treatment, because I did research, and there are actually a lot of other experimental treatments that they're working on for low-grade serous carcinoma. So it's just been very hard emotionally. Like I said, I cried for like that first week after the phone call that it was a mass and not cyst. I cried for on and off for a week, and then for the past week since the surgery, I've again cried on and off. And It's just been really hard and
overwhelming.
and I'm going to have to deal with this for the rest of my life because this kind of cancer, there's no cure. So even if I get to the point where I don't have any more tumors in my body, it could come back. And I would just have to keep going to the hospital, get CT scans and testing done for the rest of my life. But I have a great support system. My family's been very helpful. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, and everyone's just been really great. But yeah, so that was the first video we wanted to make. We just wanted to explain the story up until now. So stay tuned for the first chemo visit. That is gonna suck. But we're gonna make it through it.
Yeah, we're gonna make it through it, and we'll give you tips and tricks on what you want to bring.
Yeah.
For a 6-hour-long chemo session.
6-hour-long chemo. Yeah. So I want to thank you for watching, and if you can like and subscribe and comment, that'd be really helpful. I want to get this out to everyone that it's not always a death sentence. So you don't have to stop living life happy. You can still do things. But yeah, it's gonna be hard, but we'll get through it.
We'll get through it. So, thanks, YouTube.
Bye.